Some days you just don't have it, and that's fine. I am supposed to record a motivational video. I am trying to do a series on this channel where I talk about self-improvement topics that I care about, that I share things that I've learned over Halo gameplay for a little bit of nostalgia, right? Maybe try and help the people who are around my age go from 0 to 10 or 0 to 15 like I have. And then I'm trying to get to from 15 to 30. And then I'll share what I've learned, along that journey and hope to help someone else. Like so many people have helped me get to where I am. But I just don't have it in me today. I don't know what it is. Every time I try and record one of these, I just feel a little corny. I don't know. Nothing is speaking to me today. I can't seem to channel the energy or figure it out. I've started this recording like 10 times now and deleted all of them because I just get halfway through and I'm like, this is just not it. Something's not right. So let's just talk about that instead. I have to get the video done anyway. I have to sit here and record this motivational video regardless. And that's what I'm doing. I'm here. I'm doing it. I don't have it today, and that's okay, but I will get it done anyway. I will do my best. I will show up and give it my all no matter what, even if my all is only 10%. Because over time it will average out, and if I give it my all every day, some days you have 200% to give, and it gets, those days will counteract the days where you feel bad, you feel low. So it's really just about the consistency of showing up and doing your best every single day, day in and day out. So I guess that's what I'll talk about a little bit, is how do you do that, right? How do you show up every day even when you don't want to? Well, I think one of the things that you can do to make it really easy is to just get stuff done with early in the day. When you have the most energy, when you have the most time, when you feel up to it the most, just knock stuff out then. If that happens to be at the end of the day for you, then that's fine too. But for me, I always know I wind up a little tired at the end of the day and I don't quite have the same energy. So if I want to record stuff, I should do it early in the day. I should eat the frog, they say, and get the hard stuff out of the way early. So that's what I do. That's one of the major ways that I have found to make getting started and getting stuff done easier, is just wake up and start doing it immediately. Like a morning routine, or I don't know, anything else you might be doing, just get started and get it over with. And then the next thing that I would say is help the most is keeping track of it, just keeping a log of everything that you're supposed to do and just color in a little box every time you do it, check it off and say, okay, I got this done, and try and keep the streak going. I have a very, very long streak of journaling. There's some breaks in there. There's some times where I failed or slipped up and didn't do it or whatever, but there's been months and months at a time where I have just journaled every single day relentlessly. I just did it no matter what. I would just make sure that I set my timer and write. Even if all I did was write, I'm really tired, I really want to go to bed, over and over again, essentially, I still got it done. And I think that's what matters. In fact, my biggest break in that really happened like the month before last, when I had some pretty tragic stuff happen. So it's okay to fail, but you can start over at any time and get back on the horse and keep the streak going. And since then, I have all December journaled every day. So keeping track of stuff like that, making sure you have like a visual way to look at your progress and your streak, I think is another great way to make sure that you show up even when you don't have it in you. And then I think it takes some mindset shifts as well. You really have to think about, what type of person do I want to be? Do I want to be the type of person that does what they say they'll do? Do I want to be the type of person who quits when things are a little difficult? Or do I want external factors like my energy levels, or whether or not it rained today, or I'm hungry, or stuff like that? Do I want things that are more outside of my control to really impact my ability to execute? And I think we would all say no, I don't want that. I want to be in control as much as I can. So that's why I think you have to take radical ownership over the stuff that you do have control over, and then the stuff that you don't have control over, you should basically just ignore and realize that since you don't have control over it, it shouldn't really affect you for the most part. So I think those mindset shifts are really important to making sure you show up even when you don't want to, because as soon as you don't show up one day, you're more likely to not show up the next day and the next day and the next day. And instead of your habit being doing the thing, your habit becomes not doing the thing. And so even though I think this video sucks, I don't like it. I didn't enjoy recording it. I'm not having a good time right now. I am incredibly down on myself about it. I'm still getting it done because I said I would. And I have to. And maybe that's the difference, right? Between people who get stuff done and people who don't, is I have to do this. It's not like optional for me. There is no moment in my mind where I'm like, oh, well, what if I just didn't do it? It has to get done. I have to do it. Like, there's a gun to my head. I have to do it. Even though there's not, I've imagined one there somehow. I have built that in my mind, that idea that this, no matter what, I will get done the things that I say I'll get done. And I wish there was some easy way that I knew to give everybody that ability to sort of put that pressure on themselves, or to understand the gravity of having to get something done. But we've all felt it before, you know, everybody's had to get something done. And maybe that's a lie. Maybe you don't actually have to do anything, you know? Like if I didn't upload these videos, what would realistically happen? Nothing, probably. I would just have skipped the day. I could come back tomorrow and everything would be fine. Or, you know, if you really didn't want to go to work today and you called in, like, what would really happen? Probably nothing. It's not very likely you'll get fired if you lie and say you're sick or something, you know? You'd probably be okay, but I don't know. I still feel like I have to do it. Like, even though there are no consequences in the immediate, I guess there's consequences long term, right? And that's what's important, is the long term consequences. That's why I have to do it. It's the fact that if I don't do this now, I am delaying the future that I want. If you call in sick one day and lie and say that you're sick when you're really not, you've like harmed your integrity. You're less of a person, I guess, in a way, you know? You're like a less good person. You're worse than you could have been if you had shown up even when you didn't want to and did it anyway. So maybe that's why I feel like I have to do it, but I do think that word is important. I must, you know, it's not optional. I must do it no matter what. And I will do it. I'm getting it done right now. We're nearly done, you know. I've gone for 8 minutes, and that's enough time to end the video, but I feel like I have a little more to say on the topic, and I'll force myself to get it out and complete it so that the video feels whole and maybe a little less terrible than I started initially. But the important thing is that it got done. And I think if you could just show up and get stuff done every day, even though you don't really want to, eventually you will want to. Most of the time it'll feel really good to get stuff done, because in the beginning you do a lot of stuff and you don't get anything for it, and then eventually you do enough stuff that you actually get a reward for it, and it's very clear, like, oh, doing all this stuff in the past is why I feel good right now. I just need to keep going, and who knows how good I'll feel in the future. But dealing with the delayed gratification is difficult. I understand. I too am human and suffer from the instant gratification trap, right? TikTok is awesome. I love scrolling on my phone. It feels good. It's fun. But as soon as you get off of it, you feel terrible, because you know you just wasted like 2 hours doing nothing. So you have to do the hard stuff so that you can get the big reward, instead of doing a bunch of little stuff and get the tiny reward and then wonder why your life sucks. So yeah, this one was bad, but that's okay, because I'll show up tomorrow and it'll be better, and I'll come up with a better topic, and I'll feel good, and we will keep rocking and rolling, and everything will be great. But some days you're gonna have bad days, but as long as you show up, I think that's what matters, because a little bit of progress is better than no progress at all.